the world champion and Olympic silver medalist in the triple jump, Philip Sado. That's a very sober look, I have to say, in a smart suit and a very, very sober hairstyle. Now listen, why did you triple jump in the first place? Who got you into it? Who was the first man who said you might be quite good at this?
That would be my former PE teacher, Mr. Long. I can't call my teacher by his first name.
It's true though, isn't it? I bet he was Mr. Long probably all along, wasn't he?
Mr. Long all the way. So.
And what did he see in you, do you think, that made him think that you had it in you?
Just a kid that likes to get dirty playing in the stand, I don't know.
But when he suggested it, did you think don't be stupid, or did you immediately embrace the idea?
No, not at all. Growing up in Hackney, the school I went to, we didn't have the greatest facilities, and he was a resourceful man and managed to get us to do standing triple jump in the small sports hall we had, and it just kind of developed from there. I tried to do lots of other sports. It wasn't one that I would have picked for myself, especially as a career. I'm grateful he got me into it, and it's completely changed my life.
Absolutely. And so once you leave school, you leave Mr. Long behind, and you have a coach who you probably do know the Christian name of. Who was the next one?
Oh, I was lucky to meet John Powell before I left school, and he got me travelling from Hackney to Crystal Palace to do some work on a weekly basis, and from there I developed from a little ruffian in Hackney to an international junior athlete.
And it's quite difficult to change coaches, isn't it? Because you establish that bond and that kind of responsibility, mutual responsibility, that when you feel it's time to move on, it's quite a difficult decision to make.
It is, and it's tough to make that choice at the time. It takes a long time, and I love all them guys, man. Without them, I'd be nothing. I don't know where I'd be. So to actually leave someone who all of them, I'd say to some extent, were like a father figure for me. They guided me in the right direction and tried to make sure I did the best for myself and my family, and just become a decent, upstanding citizen. Hopefully, I am.
And so the next in line was who?
That would be my next coach, John Herbert, former international triple jumper himself, and he's here looking quite dapper. Can't see him.
Have him up here in a second, don't worry. And Aston Moore after that. Is he looking dapper tonight?
Always. But no, I got to speak on John as well. John took me a long way. I started working with John at the age of 18, 19, and I picked up my first international medals with him, went to my first senior championships, which was Sydney many moons ago. And we came a long way. 2008 we picked up a world indoor title. I jumped to indoor PB, which was special to me, and at that time it was, okay, we've come to the end of the road, we need to move it forward, and really appreciate everything he did, and it was time to make a change, and Aston Moore
took you to the top of the world, literally. During the course of your career, have any of them said, Phillips, the hair? What do you think? Shouldn't you be focusing more on your technique? You have any rows about the image or not?
No, they let me be who I am, man. This is me. You see, I'm not bigger than these guys.
Well, look, we are here tonight to pay tribute to people who have helped to create champions at whatever level it might be, and here we have a champion of the world. So would you please put your hands together for all those four gentlemen who have been absolutely keen, and if they'd all like to come onto the stage, please, who have been absolutely keen and taking a bit to go to be world champion and hopefully Olympic champion in 2012. John Powell, John Herbert, Aston Moore, and Mr. Long.
When you work on small little things, because you get that piece right, it means you progress to the next step.
jump of Philip Sado's career.
Listen, world champion, fantastic. After the two Johns, excuse me if I go to Mr. Long, who obviously is, a key, and first things first, I should say, do you have a first name?
Humphrey.
Humphrey.
In England.
The only Humphrey Long in England. Right. Well, then, well, blow me down. And maybe I can't see you. I can't see you calling him Humphrey, age 13. It wouldn't have quite been right, would it? So why did you suggest he triple jumped?
Well, I was a bit of a specialist in teaching the triple jump because, as Philip said, when you've got very, very limited facilities, there's very little you can do in a hall. So therefore, you can draw a line and say hop, step, and jump, and make it a competitive thing with a ladder. And when we went to the Marlin Stadium, I had this class of youngsters, 12, 13, a real mixture of boys and girls of all shapes and sizes. And suddenly, one of them actually did the hop, step, and jump across the lines of the track from one side of the track to the other. And I said to him, "You're in." And that was it. And that's how it started. And from then, he's put in all the work with these other fellas, gone all over the world. What a difference it made, just that little spark of a young boy from Hackney. He's been to China, Australia, Berlin, everywhere. And all from just taking an interest in a Mickey Mouse event like the triple jump.
And suddenly you've got a competitive athlete on your hands. How good did you think he might be at that point?
Well, he was a lazy bugger at the best of times, I have to say, as a teenager. Whenever the temperature fell below about 10 degrees in the winter, we couldn't find him for love nor money. But he was a competitor, and I think that's been the common denominator for the last 10 to 15 years, and that was proved to be the case this year of all years.
Well, this year of all years, I mean, let's talk, from people who've taken him to world and Olympic medals. How much of it, because it's always the most fascinating thing of all, I'm sure, for all the coaching fraternity here. Do you make champions, or can they be manufactured? What's the balance between the personal desire and motivation and the people in the backup crew, if you like, who can make them achieve their ambitions?
That's a difficult question, but the way that I probably want to look at it, I think it might have been someone like Michelangelo that sort of said that within a stone. There's a shape or a statue, and what we have to do is chip that away and let that thing come through. And pretty much champions, he's born. Look at the size of him. The attachment of the muscles to his bones and tendons and everything like that. We don't create that. If you're religious, God did. Certainly his parents did. And what we try to do is to get that talent to be what that talent should be. And we help him to be the person that he was created to be.
Philip's always had a talent. It was just finding the process, I think, a means and ways of bringing that talent out and that self-belief. And I know for me, I just wouldn't give up on him. And I just found, I know that when he crashed and burned after Athens, we had to go back and we put a plan together. And I said to him, you know what we have to do is we have to pick up fights. And there's nothing like winning to give you self-belief and confidence. And so we just picked our fights. And whenever he was fit and well, he could always go out and do the business. And this year, that's what he's done.
He sure did, but he couldn't have done it without all four of you, from the indoor sports hall to the world stage in Berlin this year. I'm sure, speaking on your behalf, Felix, you couldn't have done it without these guys, so thank you very much. Respect.